My guest today is Sergey Nazarov. Sergey, of course, is the co-founder of Chainlink, the industry standard Oracle network for connecting smart contracts to real-world data and off-chain computation, securing tens of billions of dollars across numerous top blockchains. Chainlink has been a key enabler for DeFi applications and has been adopted by leading global enterprises such as Google, AWS, Deutsche Telekom, and Swisscom to securely connect to the growing blockchain economy. And this year, Chainlink plans to launch the cross-chain interoperability protocol, that's CCIP, a cross-chain communication standard for enabling different blockchains to seamlessly interact, which of course is currently a massive pain point for those deeply involved across the crypto space. It is always a pleasure to catch up with Sergey. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Andy. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
All right, Sergey, well, let's just dive into it, shall we? I know at Chainlink you speak a lot about this concept of cryptographic truth. So what does building a world powered by cryptographic truth mean?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the main concepts of our industry that's going to become increasingly important in people's minds as they seek to adopt more trust minimized systems. So building a world powered by cryptographic truth basically means a world that depends more on encryption, more on mathematics, and more on deterministic systems than it does on people and their goodwill, basically. So one example that I like more and more recently is the transition from unencrypted personal text messages to completely end-to-end encrypted messaging solutions. So approximately 10 years ago, if you wanted to send a message to somebody, you usually didn't wonder too much as an average person about whether that information was secure at rest or it was secure when it was transmitted, or what was going on with it. You just didn't care as much about encryption, and you didn't care about the security or privacy of that message information. But then, Facebook, Cambridge Analytica, a whole bunch of other series of mistakes by large organizations led people to really wonder about the messaging systems that they use to communicate and the guarantees of those systems. So basically, the people who had a kind of monopoly on messaging lost the trust of the public. And that trust was only restored when you employed end-to-end encryption, right? So when you go on WhatsApp or you use Signal or use any of these various apps, the average person now knows about end-to-end encryption for message texts, right? And this is an example of a shift where overall consumer, institutional, and just enterprise, everybody's sentiment changed from we're going to trust messaging systems to be unencrypted and we're going to depend on the goodwill of the people running those systems, to the only way we will use a messaging system is if it's guaranteed by encryption to be, inalterable, private, and a bunch of other things. This is what I think will happen with the rest of the world. And I think that the current correction in the global economy will only accelerate this. So building a world powered by cryptographic truth essentially means building a world powered by encryption and mathematics. Cryptographic truth specifically is what we work on at Chainlink in generating cryptographically proven pieces of information about the world. Now, that could be randomness, that could be data about weather, data about prices, data about identity. It could be certain computations that are cryptographically guaranteed. But what it all really comes down to is that the whole world will become increasingly tired of guarantees that aren't fulfilled, and they will become increasingly focused on cryptographically guaranteed systems. And I think this will extend not only to Web 3 applications, but it will also extend to Web 2 applications, which I see becoming what I call trust minimized applications. And we actually do already have tens of billions of dollars that we secure, or the Chainlink network secures, in basically Web 2 systems that use Chainlink networks for cryptographic truth. So I see a huge demand for cryptographic truth and cryptographically guaranteed systems in the Web 3 industry, which is in and of itself basically coming into existence on the basis of this difference, on the basis of being cryptographically guaranteed. And I see increasing demand from Web 2 systems to use things like the Chainlink network and other sources of cryptographic truth that the Chainlink network provides to those systems, to prove things to their users, because their users no longer want to rely on them for the entire process of the transaction or the trade or whatever peer-to-peer interaction even that Web 2 platform does. And so what cryptographic truth really means is that the world will continue to become increasingly trust minimized.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. That is fascinating indeed. So I heard you talked a little bit about the global economy, Web 2 and Web 3. So how do you see the global economy then interacting with smart contracts, and how would Chainlink fit into this next iteration of the blockchain ecosystem, if we define that as Web 3 or however you want to phrase that? How does Chainlink fit into that next iteration of blockchain?
Sure. I think what's happening right now with the global economy is that the massive downturn in tech is driving down the crypto markets together with it. And this is a consequence of institutional money in, institutional money out. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I think what's going to continue to happen, in my opinion, is things for the global economy will unfortunately continue to get worse in various sectors that were driven by massive growth funding, right? Whether that was quantitative easing, whether it was unchecked money printing, whether it was any number of other mechanisms. Basically, there's more and more people who are going to be speaking about things like an everything bubble. There's more and more people that are going to be even more concerned about inflation. And in my opinion, if this gets bad enough, then cryptocurrencies and blockchains will detach from traditional tech as a solution to this problem, right? So traditional tech is, in certain sense, a kind of speculative endeavor where a lot of growth-related funds and quantitative easing and a number of other things like unchecked money printing has flowed, but they don't fundamentally create technologies that solve a global financial crisis or an everything bubble, or solve the problems that leads to. Conversely, cryptocurrencies and blockchains are pretty much about that. They're pretty much about a different unit of account, a different method of ownership, a different way of contracting with each other about everything from insurance to financial products to ownership to any number of other topics. So I think the reality is that there is right now a close connection between cryptocurrencies and tech valuations because of the influx of capital from institutions. But if the world continues to go in a negative direction, which I think on a global economy basis it likely will, then eventually people will realize that blockchains and cryptocurrencies and smart contracts and oracles are actually the solution to many of the problems caused by that downturn, or many of the problems that will lead to various financial systems, financial institutions, financial counterparties no longer being solvent, no longer being able to operate the way that people expected. And this is where crypto's value proposition will begin to become increasingly clear, separate from whatever speculative activities people might have been doing with it. And it is, in fact, this cryptographically guaranteed set of financial relationships, cryptographically guaranteed ownership through private keys, cryptographically guaranteed composable smart contracts. That is really what I think a lot of the people that are building things in the crypto industry really are interested in. And it's what we're very interested in. And so in a certain sense, there could be a silver lining to a larger macro downturn in that it forces people to reevaluate how the world works. And I do strongly believe that crypto is the technology that people will flock to make the world work differently. So that is where I think things are going. How Chainlink fits into this next iteration of the blockchain system is it powers the vast majority of DeFi. It powers the vast majority of random number generation events for games on many different blockchains to make them reliable. And it will continue to power many computations through keepers and soon many cross-chain communications through things like CCIP. So Chainlink is kind of, in very simple terms, almost like the AWS of all crypto infrastructure other than a blockchain itself. So the hundreds of services that everyone uses in Web 2 to build all the applications that led the Web 2 boom, all of those services is essentially what Chainlink provides in this novel decentralized Oracle network format. And that's really what decentralized Oracle networks are, is they are a new form of decentralized computation that flexibly delivers a massive amount of different computation types that were previously impossible in a decentralized way. And so as more and more of the world looks to blockchains and smart contracts to solve the global financial problems that are to come, there will likewise be more and more demand for crypto infrastructure that enables all of that. And that is the unique position that the Chainlink and the Chainlink network occupies, is the ability to provide that unique type of computation in a decentralized way, whether that's data, validated data aggregation, random numbers, or computations just for automation, soon cross-chain communications, and soon many other types of computations, the fees from which all will go on to flow back into the protocol. So that is basically where things go, into the protocol and into the teams and node operators and all the people that kind of help facilitate the proper operation of the protocol.
Yeah, very nice. Again, Sergey, and I love the way you talk about crypto's value proposition always coming to the fore, even in these very much volatile and uncertain economic times. But I'm curious, Sergey, how would you see Chainlink's ongoing growth, both as a standard and as a protocol? How will this connect with the growth in, I suppose, the DeFi ecosystem and, of course, other blockchain use cases as we go forward?
Sure, of course. So I think one of the great things about making general purpose infrastructure is that it covers many different use cases on many different chains. So the Chainlink network is well known for providing the most reliable data in the DeFi industry, and is credited in many cases by top research institutions as kicking off the growth in DeFi by allowing data to flow to smart contracts and allowing those smart contracts to be about more than tokenization. That was a very good initial use case of decentralized Oracle networks as a computing standard. Now, since then, the Chainlink network has expanded to provide everything from randomness to identity data to weather data to computations around how to basically automate smart contracts to a greater degree, and soon expanding to things like fair sequencing services to combat MEV, all kinds of other data and cross-chain communications. So basically, Chainlink and the Chainlink as a protocol and the Chainlink network as a set of hundreds of decentralized Oracle networks is something that's very adaptable, right? So if DeFi continues to grow, then Chainlink and the Chainlink network continue to provide huge amounts of data and billions of data points of high quality validated data. If gaming grows, then the random number generation solution, the automation solutions, and other types of data become more adopted, once again, through the Chainlink protocol and the Chainlink network. If other categories of smart contracts begin to explode, such as insurance, then Chainlink and the Chainlink network is providing other types of data and other types of automations through the Keeper's network, Keeper's set of systems, and so on. So basically, I think the Chainlink protocol and the Chainlink network grows as a standard relative to how our entire industry grows, regardless of use case, and also regardless of the chain that those use cases migrate to. And this is one of the great benefits that I see in building general purpose infrastructure that basically follows and supports the entire industry's success. Beyond that, wherever that developer activity goes and wherever the value goes, whether it's NFTs or gaming or DeFi or crop insurance or whatever other use case, at the end of the day, crypto infrastructure requires fees. And those fees will go to the blockchains that hold the state and hold the state transitions of the smart contracts themselves. And it will go to the value-added decentralized services that the Chainlink protocol and Chainlink network provides. And right now, there are over 900 Chainlink Oracle networks across a multitude of chains, powering hundreds of different use cases and apps and so on. And so what I actually see happening in the future is that a very large amount of different use cases on different chains all collectively pay their fees into the Chainlink network, into specific Chainlink networks, and into the Chainlink protocol system itself on an increasing basis as there are more and more developers building those use cases. That is one of the main things that we're working on. That is what is starting to happen more and more as we move closer and closer to getting staking out and getting it to facilitate that proper economic interaction between the value that the protocol provides to developers and the fees they pay into the various networks that provide that value to them, and the extension of that to stakers. So basically, I think where we are is we're at the point where we basically have the vast majority of market share, or the Chainlink network and the Chainlink protocol has the vast majority of market share in different categories of smart contracts. And there are a multitude of apps paying fees for that. And those fees will soon start to flow to specific networks, to stakers putting up stake in those networks, and to the various other parties involved in those networks, like node operators and others. So basically, we now want to improve the quality of the Chainlink network and its ability to provide security from a cryptoeconomic sense. And we want to accelerate its adoption across the variety of use cases. The other thing that I think is useful to mention is that this downturn in tech, coupled with the downturn in crypto, is actually a pretty unique situation. This is the fourth cycle that I've been in this industry. And the 3 cycles before this, there was actually more so a downturn in crypto than a downturn in anything else. So while it might seem like the music is stopping for crypto, what's actually happening is tech is down and crypto is down. So developers that are going to go in and build all these applications essentially have the same choice. They have the choice of going into traditional tech and building traditional Web2 applications, or they have the choice of going into Web3 and building Web3 applications. That choice has actually not become worse because collectively tech and crypto has gone down, this is actually the first time I've seen that happen in the cyclical nature of our industry. So what I foresee happening is a continual increase of developers coming in, building a wide variety of use cases, using more and more various Chainlink networks and Chainlink services. Multiple Chainlink services are already being used for a single dApp or a single smart contract. Them paying a portion of their fees and their users' transactions to blockchains, the blockchain that they're on. Them possibly switching blockchains or going to an L2, but them continuing to use those same Chainlink decentralized services that guarantee them reliable automation, reliable data, reliable randomness, reliable cross-chain communication, and so on. And that's fundamentally our goal, is to create a standard that powers all these use cases and is sustainable from a cryptoeconomic security point of view by aggregating the fees from all of these users into the networks that are performing the best.
Thank you, Sergey. Yeah, I mean, fascinating to talk about some of those cycles that crypto, of course, has gone through. And yeah, crypto is down, tech is down, but that is just the nature of economic cycles. The good times will return. In the meantime, builders such as Sergey will keep on building. It's good to get an update then from you, Sergey, on what you guys are doing in Chainlink. There's a lot going on, as you've kind of talked about, but what about the Chainlink reputation system? That I know that's an important part of what you guys are doing. Maybe you can talk to the goals of the Chainlink reputation system.
Sure. That's another thing that we plan to focus on this year and start rolling out more improvements to that soon. And what that'll do is it'll actually solidify the Chainlink network as a validator set for various computations beyond a blockchain. So one way to think about the Chainlink network and the Chainlink protocol is as a kind of more general purpose decentralized computation system with high quality committees of nodes, right? So our goal is to expand this Oracle network form of decentralized computation to the point where it provides all the value and all the computation types that blockchains and smart contracts need, but blockchains and smart contracts don't provide, and also, possibly more importantly, all the decentralized computations that Web 2 systems need, but that blockchains don't provide. That is a massive, colossal amount of different types of computations. I think we've only started to scratch the surface when it comes to data aggregation, weather data, identity data, that's just in the data category, or whether it's gaming related data or randomness, or whether it's even very basic computations for how reliable systems in the blockchain industry should work, like fair sequencing to avoid MEV. So there's a multitude of these different computations, and what they all need is a reliable committee of nodes. So they need a highly reliable, highly efficient committee to do those Oracle network computations. And this is one of the things that I think Chainlink as a protocol and the Chainlink network has really pioneered, and what we are going to continue to grow and win on. It's the ability to generate the highest quality validator set for your non-blockchain decentralized computation, which once again is a huge category of computation that affects Web3 apps right now because they're highly sensitive to having that decentralized computation guarantee. But I think over time actually affects more and more Web2 apps that want to gradually become trust minimized. So the reputation system is going to look at all kinds of key metrics about the uptime, the responsiveness, the accuracy, the various guarantees that different nodes provide. And this is also part of something related to the economic system of Chainlink, where the ability to get more fees and the ability to accrue a greater share of fees is going to be based on your ability to run a better node. So our committees will allow people to have quantity. Our committees of nodes, or our validator sets for these various networks, will allow people to have quantity of nodes, which is what people have so far focused on. But they will also provide a dimension of quality of nodes, because what you actually, I think, need for highly efficient, highly reliable committees of nodes, highly reliable validator sets, is the ability to have reputation-laden nodes with the right incentives to operate in all adversarial conditions. So one of the things that the Chainlink reputation system has done in its current form is it has created the right incentives for node operators to stay up through the most extreme periods of congestion, through the most extreme events in the blockchain industry that often lead other systems to fail and stop operating, while Chainlink nodes are known to continue operating as expected. And expanding this further and expanding the quality of the node validator set and what it means to be a great node is something we also plan to do as part of our upcoming release of various cryptoeconomic and kind of incentive-related improvements to make the Chainlink network even better at what it does today, which is create extremely high levels of reliability and security for critical decentralized computational operations that go beyond what a blockchain can do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sergey. I suppose the other part of Chainlink is that's notable. One of the many notable features of Chainlink is, of course, the Chainlink community, notoriously loyal and passionate supporters of you and your team, Sergey. So as we start to finish off, look, I just invite you to please give us any closing thoughts, anything else that you'd like to touch on or mention, and of course, any thoughts or messages you have for the Chainlink community and their role in securing the Chainlink protocol over time.
I think the first thing that I'd like to say is that I'm extremely grateful to everybody who has supported us during the entire life of the Chainlink protocol, from the very, very early days to the people that joined somewhere in the middle, to the people that are joining now. I think there are a lot of people that rely on us in this industry, and I think there are a lot of people in the entire crypto community that understand the immense value of what we do by providing these highly reliable data sources, randomness, and other things. I feel a very, very serious set of obligations about needing to build a protocol that meets all of these varied expectations. And so while I am extremely, extremely grateful to the entire Chainlink community and everybody who has spent any time with us at events, online, helping us build the Chainlink protocol, giving us even feedback as users, being a node operator, or through any community activities that anybody has participated in. I think our focus as a protocol has continually been to meet those expectations in the quickest and most secure way possible, because we need to continually meet entirely new challenges about the speed at which we deploy new networks for new use cases, the quality and security of certain parts of the protocol, whether it's related to randomness or data. And quite frankly, that's really been my focus. My focus has been to build the most secure protocol possible to enable the DeFi industry and other industries to grow to new heights. And this has kind of been a very focused, myopic view that I have had on how do we, at Chainlink Labs, together with other people in the Chainlink ecosystem, build the most secure, reliable, performant form of decentralized Oracle network computation. I think with the upcoming release of staking, I think with the upcoming work that we're going to be doing on cryptoeconomics and putting that more and more into the protocol, there is going to be increasing opportunities for various community members to interact with the protocol in meaningful security generating ways. One example of this is alerting and raising alerts and getting rewards for raising accurate alerts, which is a part of our approach to slashing and creating cryptoeconomic guarantees. I think there will be multiple other ways that community members can get involved in helping secure the protocol. And I think that we are going to begin having more of an active dialogue with the community and community members and trying to provide feedback on various topics. The reason that this has not been done to as extreme degree as other places is quite simply because the limited resources that we have been focused on building the most secure version of the Chainlink protocol possible and getting as many Chainlink networks out to fulfill the massive demand of DeFi, gaming, decentralized insurance, and various other use cases. So I think that where we're going is a place where the community has a very important role in raising alerts, in possibly being part of adjudication committees to resolve alerts, in being part of the protocol in various ways. And I think that is a process that's going to gradually happen as we move more towards staking and more toward providing these cryptoeconomic relationships between dApps and their fees and the protocol. That is kind of what we've been waiting for to begin this process more. But regardless of all that, I'm not a very public person. I don't spend a lot of time sending messages on Twitter or social media. But I do want to take this opportunity, as I do take every kind of opportunity where I speak publicly, to try and express my deep and genuine gratitude to everybody that understands what we're doing and sees that it's about much more than whatever may be happening in the larger global macroeconomy in the short term. That it's really about creating a different world than the one we're in now, and that is what we are prioritizing our time towards. But we will also now, with more people and resources, begin to interface with the community more clearly on various questions. And with the release of cryptoeconomic security, more cryptoeconomic security through staking, I think there will be increasingly larger opportunities for various community members, whether they're node operators or just random community members, to participate in the protocol and providing security as a staker, as an alerter, as more node operators, or as other community members. So this is the direction that we're kind of taking it in, but it has to be taken in that direction in a slow, methodical, very secure manner, because of the extreme amount of security that we need to provide to all these verticals, which is once again our priority. It's the fact that not only is the Chainlink protocol and Chainlink networks the most widely used source of this computation, but it has the longest running security track record, and it's clearly seen by everybody that uses it as the source of security for their application. So that's what we need to prioritize. We need to prioritize doing it properly, but we are gradually going in that direction this year, including the inclusion of the community for parts of the protocol, such as alerting and other categories of protocol-related, security-related operations.
Fantastic, Sergey. Thank you for that, and I'm sure anyone listening will really appreciate your thoughts there. And you're exactly right, Sergey. You're not one of these guys that is out there tweeting 10 times a day, maybe even 10 times a year is more your style. But I know, Sergey, people do appreciate all of the work that you're doing, and when you do come out and talk publicly, you've always got something really interesting to say. So I really do appreciate you coming along and spending some time with me here on the Crypto Conversation. I'm sure we'll do this again in maybe another 12 months' time, Sergey, but we'll all be, no doubt, sure, and you'll be building in the meantime, is what I'm trying to say. So thank you again, Sergey. All the best, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you very much, Andy. Good speaking with you.
All right, there you go. That was Sergey from Chainlink, and as I said, I always do appreciate it when Sergey comes on the show. I think that is either his third or fourth appearance here on the Crypto Conversation podcast, and Sergey is such a unique character. He's one of these guys where you can kind of just ask a question and then you really just want to get out of Sergey's way and let him do a brain dump, as it were. So absolutely fascinating to hear the latest from Sergey and what he and the team are building at Chainlink. So thank you again to Sergey. Thank you again to the listeners. We have reached the end of another show. If you enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to subscribe to the Crypto Conversation in whatever podcast app you are using. Feel free to give us a nice rating or a review in Apple iTunes, the iPhone, Apple Podcasts app, all that good stuff. But for now, hey, that's the end of the show. Thanks, everyone. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave and New Coin. See ya.